I'm really not easily moved to tears, but I was so overcome with sadness. I know that today there are countless people in this country and around the world who have experienced the same sudden access of unexpected emotion. And I think millions of us are trying to understand why we are feeling this deep and personal and almost familial sense of loss.
You've got former British Prime Minister Boris Johnson moments ago addressing Parliament honoring Queen Elizabeth. Piers Morgan had mentioned that before we went to break a moment ago, and so we wanted to play that for the folks, Piers. Piers, we understand tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., Charles will officially be proclaimed king. He has waited his life for this. What's he going to say?
It's a very important speech. It's a huge moment, probably the biggest moment of Charles's life. This is a man who's been the longest-serving royal apprentice in history, if you think about it. You know, he's been waiting for his chance to show that he too can reign. But he's following the greatest monarch in history, someone who, outside of a young French king who was appointed when he was just 4 years old, this queen reigned longer than any monarch in the history of the planet and was the greatest and the best at it. So this is a hugely difficult act to follow. But I've known Charles a long time. He's a very intelligent man. He's a very thoughtful man. The one thing he's going to have to change is he has got a tendency to poke his nose into hot-button issues. Politics. He's been a bit political over the years. But I think he recognises that there is a difference between a Prince of Wales and being the monarch. And I think you will see him pivot now to a strictly non-partisan position. But there is, of course, a lot of speculation about the future of the monarchy itself. And it will be down to Charles. It's down to him now and his family, and William, of course, who's his heir, to really navigate the royal family and the monarchy into the next phase. It's going to be incredibly difficult. You know, I thought Boris Johnson, I don't agree with a lot of what Boris Johnson says, to be honest with you, but I thought he absolutely captured how I've been feeling. We all feel oddly emotional, I think, in this country. We're beginning to understand the scale of the loss of this woman who's always been there and we assumed would always be there. And I think that Charles has to somehow, I think tonight when he goes on to the airwaves in this national broadcast, he'll obviously pay tribute to his mother, but I think he also has to talk to us directly as our new king and explain how he sees the future of the monarchy. But I think he can rise to the challenge. I think in Camilla, his queen consort, she's a wonderful lady. I've known her very well for a long time. And I think she's been a rock to him. He has got his own Philip in that sense, as Philip was to the Queen. And I think that together they'll be fine. And I think the great thing about the monarchy is that they always go on. It doesn't matter how bad things are. Right. In history, they've always gone on. We are incredibly lucky to have this monarchy. And the interesting thing, of course, is that there won't be a queen now in my lifetime. Highly unlikely. The succession now will be all male for the next 3 kings. So that's the last we'll see of a queen, and what a queen she was.
Got to ask you, your favorite topic, Harry and Meghan. What happens to them? Will we see them throughout the next few weeks, days?
Did you really have to mention them,
Sorry.
Ainsley?
It's always so colorful.
They're sort of exhausting, aren't they? You know, they happened to be in England at the time. Incredibly, they was at Frogmore Cottage on the Windsor Park estate, 500 yards from William, and they didn't see him, didn't even say hello. So there is a huge rift between these boys. It would have broken Diana's heart. I knew Diana very well. She would have been utterly heartbroken at what is going on here. I heard from somebody very close to Prince Charles that he is incredibly hurt by the rift with his son. He doesn't understand it. It was only several years ago that he walked Meghan Markle down the aisle when her father wasn't able to make the wedding. And yet now he's the villain, the bad guy. Harry is apparently planning this tell-all book, which will be, if it comes out, another chance to hammer the institution of the monarchy, which, of course, has given these two their royal titles, which they have fleeced for hundreds of millions of dollars. They're incredibly unpopular now in Britain, words I never thought I'd use about Harry. He was the most popular young royal. Now he's as unpopular as Prince Andrew. Meghan Markle is completely burned in this country. I think people just don't want to see her here because they see somebody who's on the make. They see somebody who wants to take a royal title and exploit it ruthlessly for huge personal financial gain. You couldn't get a more different attitude than the one of the Queen, where the Queen was always about other people, about service, about duty. It was never about enriching herself because of her status. And I think it's incredibly sad that we now have this pair of renegade royals running around fleecing their royal titles. It shouldn't be allowed. If I were Prince Charles, now King Charles, of course, if I were King Charles, I think I would say to them, any more of this, and I'm stripping you of the titles. Let them then go off and just be celebrities, if that's what they want to do. But don't do it as Duke and Duchess of Sussex, whilst you simultaneously trash the institution that gave you the titles. So we'll see what happens. I'm extremely uncomfortable about what they're doing and the damage it's done. And I have to say that, you look at the last 2 years of the Queen's life, she lost the rock of her life, her husband, Philip, and she was in ill health herself the whole time. And the whole time, these two were going on national television, trashing the royal family and the monarchy. It must have been incredibly hurtful to the Queen at a time when she least wanted it. So I just want to see a lot less of them, and I want to see what I think is happening in this country, which is this country rallying behind King Charles and his son and heir, William. I think they are the future.
All right. Piers Morgan, the host of Piers Morgan Uncensored on Fox Nation. Sir, thank you very much.
Thank you. We're sorry for your loss, Piers.
Great to talk to you. Yeah, thank you. We feel it, and we appreciate all the support we've had from America. We know what the royal family meant to you and the Queen in particular, and we really appreciate all the support we've had. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right. We're stepping aside. Back in a couple.